Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm lifestyle host, lifestyle TV host, Dr. Moby, and we have great guest today. Let's welcome David. Hello, David.
Hi, Dr. Moby. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a
Oh,
pleasure.
it's a pleasure too. So, David, tell us about yourself. I know you had an interesting journey. So,
Well, I'm actually I was a current middle school teacher. I was a former three-sport athlete, and I'm a current motivational speaker with cerebral palsy. And I've had cerebral palsy since birth,
mhm,
so I was actually born with it.
mhm. Okay, so you were born with it, but you have accomplished great, and you're a speaker and doing excellent things for everybody, motivating all of us, and with your story. So tell us about your journey. When did you realize that you had, CP? I know you were born with.
Well, I was originally diagnosed from birth, but then I actually had difficulties with being able to read, write, walk,
Mhm,
doing the normal things that a normal child would do. So until I was around 8 years old, where I had a
mhm,
family tragedy happen, where my biological mom passed away,
mhm,
and then my stepmom kind of took over with my dad, and that's when life really started to prosper, and I started to really learn how to read, how to write, how to live a normal life. Because before then, doctors would say, "Oh, he won't be able to live a normal life. He'd always be in a wheelchair. You'd have to take care of him yourselves," and it was just completely disheartening for my family and for myself to be told that you won't have a future.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, it'll be very disheartening for anyone. So, and I assume that must be very sad to hear for somebody telling you that. So also tell me a little bit about, so what were some of the difficulties were you facing? Is that that you were not able to process the information, or you had some spasm of your extremities? They were having coordination problem, or
Well, I had difficulty for the most part. For the first 8 years, I was confined to a wheelchair, so
okay.
I couldn't really walk. So I used to walk on my knees. I had very limited vocabulary. I was in diapers because of course when my biological mom had me. What people don't realize is she had me when she was 16 years old. She was still very young. She's still practically a child herself. So you can imagine being a child raising another child,
Mm.
how difficult that can be. And not only that, but then I had my younger brother who was born as well, but he was born able-bodied. But just imagine taking care of two children yourself, one being with special needs.
Mm.
It's not easy without help.
No, it's a full-time work. And that, the reason I'm saying it, my sister had CP, and to raise that, I understand completely.
And then after that, when I turned 8 years old, and of course my biological mom passed away, my stepmom took over. She took me in school. I was started in special ed, special education, which is there are kids in a self-contained classroom with all various kinds of uh, intellectual, developmental, or physical disabilities. But my stepmom said, told the director of the school in Puerto Rico, I was born in Puerto Rico, that I had more potential than that. So she took me out. She put me in regular education. She worked really hard with me to learn all the skills needed to be in regular education, and that's where I kind of really started to move forward.
Oh, okay. So that's where you started your journey. So tell me about, so what has helped you when you were with your journey? What was really helping you? That.
Really, just having a good support system, family, friends, always believing in yourself, being positive.
Mhm.
There's times where things do get hard and I feel like giving up on myself, but I realize you've made it this far. Why would you give up now? You know, why
That's
would you
very.
give up now? And then um And I tell people there's so much potential to be unlocked out there that if you give up now, you will never get to see it.
Hmm. That's
And you know,
that is so true. That you made up. And I'm sure there were days where you were feeling low, right?
oh yeah, that it wasn't until I was 25 years old. I'm 30 now, but it wasn't until I was 25 that I began accepting my disability. I began embracing it fully. Telling myself, "This is me. This will always be me." And people are going to judge you. People are going to talk down to you. But at the end of the day, it's what your happiness that matters, and how you perceive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you perceive yourself negatively,
Hmm.
then you'll do negative things. However, if you perceive yourself positively, good things happen.
Hmm. And I think you have rightly chosen the for your Facebook. The only journey is the one within.
Exactly.
That is so true. And so, also tell me a little bit about you. I see that you've been in the former team lead for the Americorps, and also the doing the academic support for specialists at Americorps, right?
Well, Americorps is actually a federal, state, and local program in the U.S. It's
Mm-hmm.
all over the U.S. So what I do is I do local, which is like around where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I go to they assign me to a school,
Mm-hmm.
and that helps students with various learning challenges. They could have difficulty reading, writing, and math.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I dealt with a lot of the kids that don't know English very well, so I speak Spanish as well. So I dealt with those students,
Mm-hmm.
and we also helped the surrounding communities. Like the food banks, and do other community events out there whenever we were needed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you help a lot of those folks around, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So also tell me a little bit about the program. You said this is a federal program.
Yes, it's a federal, state, and local program. It was originally started back in the mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
We also work in partnership with After School All Stars, which was funded by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, yeah, I know
He's
that.
a famous, yeah, he's a famous actor. He started the program or the initiative to keep kids off the streets, because of course, as you know, if a child doesn't get the proper support or the proper help early in life, they can go down a very deep spiral, and that can cause a lot of problems later on in life. So the after school program is a great program. Americorps is a great program to help kids stay off the streets, and to provide them with an opportunity to flourish later on in life and become successful adults.
Oh, very nice. I see. I did not know about the program that exists even. So thank you for taking us opportunity to kind of go over the program. Also, tell me a little bit about how do you keep yourself going every day? Like, how do you relax yourself?
Well, I'm a big, I like gaming myself, or I like to go outdoors and take a jog or a walk, to clear my mind. I also like to kind of dabble in like different podcasts, and I'm a very big music fanatic, so I love listening to music,
Mhm.
and also just spending time with family whenever I get the chance.
Okay. So, and how is the family now doing with you? So now you're able to help them or do so many things, right?
Oh, of course, it's fantastic now. Now I'm able to uh, fully live independently. So I live on my own, but
Wow.
I still see my family. My family are literally my neighbors. We're neighbors, so we see
Uh,
each other. We see each other every day.
okay, very cool, very cool. So you say you were telling that you do a lot of podcasts.
Yes, I actually have my own podcast, which I mean, if you'd like afterward, I mean, if you're like one of these days, we'll schedule. It's called Cerebral Palsy and Fitness.
Mhm.
So I cover not only my journey and not only about my fitness journey, but
Mhm.
I also like to invite guests that have very motivational or upbringing stories that they may have disabilities themselves, or something that's very like that they've experienced in their lives that they feel like they need to share, but they don't have the outlet to share it in. So I
Yeah,
provide that outlet for them.
yeah, yeah. No, that is amazing work. That's you're doing a fantastic with that, helping someone, being motivated. These are the things I think we can make a difference. Being in the podcast world, so there is so much negativity around. So much despair, so much sadness. With everything going around. So to bring the positive message, it means a lot for everyone, right?
Yes, it does.
So I always say, that they cannot be enough podcaster. I think we need a lot of them.
Of
So,
course.
so also, tell me a little bit about you say do you have other siblings? You said you had.
Yes, I have my younger brother
Hmm.
and my two sisters. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
the oldest.
Oh, you're the oldest. Okay. So, how they're doing? So how they're interacting? How's your relationship with them?
It's wonderful with all three of them.
Okay, very,
I wouldn't trade them for the world.
okay, very good, very good. And do you all like to enjoy video games or is there other things too?
Oh yeah, we like to enjoy the usual movie or hanging out together in general. So it's always good.
Okay, yeah. So also, tell me, if you had any next few months plan or anything coming up in regarding your podcast or your future plans to do things.
Well, I know in August I have a major conference coming up in New England that I'll be speaking in, and I'll be covering the topic of adaptive fitness. So I'll talk about a little bit about my fitness journey and ways for someone with a disability to get in shape and to stay active.
Okay. So you're going to. Do you think you're writing book too, or?
Oh, that's one of the plans. That's definitely one of my plans in the future.
Yeah, I thought that would be great because kind of motivating a lot of people with your work, so they can connect and so also tell me a little bit about other resources, somebody who or family member who has cerebral palsy. What are some of the helps they can get?
Well, definitely, I would recommend do your research
Okay.
on what kind of CP they might have. Also, definitely gather up any documentation that doctors might give you or anything like that, because it's critical for you to be able to receive a lot of the services that are available. Um, Also, definitely keep in mind that everybody's opinion, especially with schools and all, is different. So don't just let anyone place your child wherever. Try your best to advocate for your advocate for your child. To kind of speak up for them, to be like, hey, if the school says one thing, but you believe another, and you feel that your child can really succeed and prosper, definitely go out there and just advocate for them. It's always so important because at the end of the day, the parent is the child's biggest advocate until the child becomes old enough to advocate for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. But also, so do you think there were certain specialists you found more helpful in terms of understanding CP than?
Oh yeah, of course. There are specialists out there that are super knowledgeable, and I'm very appreciative of. That definitely helped me
Mhm.
out when I was younger.
Mhm. Sure, sure. And what about some of? Did you have go through with the rehab program, and that helped you better to kind of strengthen your ability to do things?
Yeah, I went through occupational therapy for a few years, and I went through physical therapy for a few years, and then as I became an adult, obtaining physical therapy was slightly I mean, it wasn't difficult, but I mean, they just gave you a piece of paper and said, "Okay, carry on, do it on your own."
Hmm.
But then, and then they wanted to charge you for the services just for giving you a piece of paper, and I'm like, this is absurd. I might as well join a gym or start working out myself and get in shape that way. So that's what I did. I took it upon myself to stay active, because if I didn't take it upon myself to stay active, I'd be back in the wheelchair. So I had to make that decision.
Mm, yeah, that's very good, very good. Well, thank you for coming to our show, giving us a great, knowledge about CP, and also, a lot of people don't know that, that there are the resources which they can tap into, and I think you shared also with Anna Schwarzenegger's movement for kids. That's amazing that it's helping a lot of kids, not necessarily having CP, they are with everyone, right?
Yep, all kinds of kids.
Okay, so all kind of, and which is great. So keeping them off the street, so staying away from trouble, right?
And definitely, that's what's most important.
That was it. Also, any final thoughts or message you have for our audience?
I would like to say, keep keep moving forward. Stay positive. Don't give up on your goals and dreams. There'll always be, like I mentioned earlier, there'll always be people that'll give you self doubt and try to uh, bring down your self esteem. But at the end of the day, if you believe in yourself and you feel that you can accomplish anything, and you have the right support system, then good things will happen. Just keep pushing forward. And like I always say at the end of my podcast,
Mhm.
if I can do it, so can you. So if I can achieve all these goals, you'll be able to achieve all your goals.
Mhm. And so rightly said, but your journey, your inspiration for so many people who are listening. So I'm sure when they listen to you, they get motivated. And rightly said, if you can do it, we should strive. We should all strive. And it's not just CP. There could be other problems everybody has. So they all get motivated, and they say, when you are the one, even with CP, you kind of defeated that stigma. You defeated everyone
Exactly.
on that. So that is great. We can really get inspired by all that. Well, thank you for keep up the good work, keep up healthy, and keep supporting all of us and motivating. Thank you. Take
Thank you,
care.
Dr. Moby.
Take care. Take it.
You too. Thank you.
Take care.